tragedy. I see you're all tied to the tracks. Raw sewage! It's what's for dinner!
I decided it was time to get back into wrestling games after many bowling game reviews. But with so many wrestling games on various platforms throughout the decades, I wasn't sure where to start. Then, it hit me.
Someone kick some booty!
I barely have any reviews out there for the SEGA Dreamcast, which is in turn due to the bad games I first played on the system after never playing it before. So I was turned off for a few months. Well, I think it's time to give the last SEGA console another chance with WWF Attitude, one of the 4 known English wrestling games for the system. So enough is enough. It's time to shut up 'cause Stone Cold said so, and get in the ring for a new wrestling game review. Or not. So yeah, first things first, as with any wrestling game, we need to get into Create a Superstar mode and make our favorite characters, YouTubers, streamers, celebrities, friends, and family. Sadly, unlike other wrestling games, even around the time this game came out, WWF Attitude has a lackluster, restrictive editor where we can barely make anyone, though I did make a Timu Charlie.
Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration.
Of course, we had to make his brother from another 7-Eleven mother, Mutahar, for tag team matches. I did get to make a pretty accurate Asmongold as well, surprisingly. I even found the perfect hair. But outside these guys, everyone else was nothing like their real selves. I couldn't make G-Man Lives or Civvy11 #FreeCivvy that well. When it comes to any other characters, I decided to represent Asmongold's viewer base. I did my best to capture their appearance correctly, the body type was supported, but furry headphones were not, so they get a furry mask instead.
At the fidelity, it's very not good. It's very run-of-the-mill.
Any game needs good controls to be a good game. If the game controls poorly, it's a bad game no matter what. So of course, you can expect this game to be one of the worst controlling wrestling games of all time. I mean, it's Acclaim after all. They were THQ before THQ, just as THQ was the Embracer Group before the Embracer Group.
Oh yeah!
I can't even describe the controls as things barely function. I tried to switch my controller thinking it was breaking, but nope, it's the game itself that's breaking. Every time I try to grab someone, it makes me block or does nothing. Half of the time, when I do get to grab at someone, it doesn't even grab them. Your character just grapples the air like it's giving Oxygen a bear hug. Stupid!
Oh my gosh!
This has led me to struggle with even trying to climb in and out of the ring and losing matches to the countout. Same thing with cage matches, where I wasn't allowed to climb the cage walls for some reason, no matter what I pressed. I also could never tag my tag team partner into a match. Instead, I would just punch them. What kind of psycho made these controls?
Player 2's got the advantage now!
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Honestly, I just started mashing buttons in the hopes I'd eventually start to get somewhere, but never did. Heck, there's no option for AI-only matches, so I have to play every time. I get the Dreamcast had a pretty bad controller, but good God! This thing wasn't made for any type of game. It sucks for fighting games, it sucks for racing games, it sucks for every kind of game. No wonder why the Dreamcast flopped.
How'd you like that, Skippy?
As for the roster of wrestlers, we have a decent amount. Though some I never heard of, let alone remember, such as Mr. Death and Billy Gunn.
Mr. Showtime is here to put on the best match ever seen in WWF history!
Though I do know of the likes of Owen Hart, Paul Bearer, Road Dogg, Mark Henry, Kang, Mankind, Goldust, Gangrel, Grandmaster Sexay, Jeff Jarrett, Jerry Lawler, Edge, Christian, The Undertaker, Stone Cold, The Rock, Triple H, X-Pac, and Shawn Michaels, for example.
I'm so excited for this match, I passed up 3 fire hydrants on the way! I've been saving it for you, baby!
Of course, due to its time, there really isn't any female wrestlers outside of Jacqueline, Sable, and of course, the lovely Chyna. May she rest in peace. There are tons of game modes to play with, but sadly, of course, quite a few of them are exclusive to 2, 3, and 4 player mode. So obviously I can't access those ones, but we'll cover a few. Otherwise this review would be like 30 plus minutes long and no one wants that. Heck, my larger reviews are the worst performing for that reason. People have short attention spans these days. So we'll just cover a couple of them, like Triple Threat, where 3 people go in and only one can win.
The show must go on! Ho ho ho! You don't mean to tell me you don't like dogs? Get busy!
We can enable a few different settings like hardcore, cage, or fall anywhere. Set how you can win the match with Iron Man, I Quit, finisher, and 2/3 victory. I always enjoyed hardcore matches as a kid. Just smashing chairs into people's faces was always so satisfying.
That was heinous! Yeah, that was bad!
Or just getting hit in the head with an old school television works too. Like, good God, man. Just shoot them already. Those TVs were no joke for the people under the age of 25, because you probably never even seen those types of TVs before. Those things were heavy as hell. If you dropped that on your foot, it had to be amputated. If it fell on a pet or a child, you'd be taking it up to be buried in the pet cemetery, where the things don't stay dead, because dead is better.
Absolutely unbelievable. Mr. Showtime is exactly that. Boingy, 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 boingy.
Tag team matches are another favorite of mine, but sadly the controls hold it back on top of the AI not being good. At least your tag team partner's AI. They just stand there while the other two tag team you. I mean, really, Asmongold and King just spit roasted Moist Critical. Now there's something you'd never thought to hear.
Player one is in a bad way. Tag out! Tag out! They lock corners. Smart move.
If this was the PS1 WWF SmackDown 2, Know Your Role, things would play better, because Ukes knew what they were doing, unlike Acclaim. Oh god, this is an Acclaim game. Yeah, that makes sense now as to why it sucks.
See? 1, 2, 3. But wait! There's more!
Royal Rumble events were pure chaos in these games. Just having all kinds of wacky created characters charge into the ring and get tossed around was a laugh. Here, of course, due to the limited creation mode, I didn't do that.
What a move!
It's your usual 30 participants fighting for being the last one in a ring. They will go to WrestleMania. The only rule is try to be the last one. People would form temporary alliances to take down larger foes.
Player 2 took an IQ test and the results came back negative.
Controls still suck, but at least I had some fun in this one, just duking it out with a good chunk of the game's roster. But eventually I got yeeted out of the ring to watch the AI finish the fight.
For us. What athleticism! Let's go, player one!
King of the Ring involves one-on-one fights through a tournament tree. Win each match till you're the King of the Ring. I don't mind this mode, but the controls still suck, which led to me losing and just watching the tourney tree change. Of course, you can't have the Attitude Era without a cage match, where you get smashed face first into the cage walls, while one must escape to win.
It's on Dream Screen! He's falling and he can't get up! Oh, got it! Leave me alone!
I tried to get on the cage, but no combination of buttons would let me get up there. This caused the AI to win by default over the shitty game controls. This sucks.
Oh my gosh, when the imposters, that's wussy. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And when the imposters, sus. Oh my gosh, sus. Oh my gosh, sassy wussy. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, sus. Do the horn, I am sus.
Career mode is a thing where you can solo your way through each live episode of a show, or through a tag team. So I had Charlie and Muta team up.
I can carry anyone! I am the whole damn show!
Beating the living hell out of you is just another day at the office for Stone Cold.
It's okay, but nothing special. Just fighting random wrestlers every week, so that's boring. I mean, there's no cutscenes or story, just random matches. Why even bother with this mode if you're not going to make it unique? It's just exhibition mode with no control. It does suck the AI doesn't play as your tag team partner once I miraculously got the tag to work. I just randomly press buttons like you do in any shitty fighting game, and eventually, yay, I can swap partners and now I'm playing as a different character. We did end up losing, but hey, when your opponents are Stone Cold Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels, you're bound to suffer.
Shut up.
There's not much else to talk about. The music does suck and it's very quiet or doesn't even work. The audio quality is pretty bad, which I know is ironic coming from my channel. Once that audience starts chanting, it's nails on a chalkboard.
And the crowd comes alive! They're showing their true colors now, aren't they, Shane? All the way to the top! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Load times are good, and I wish there was more variety in the commentary. Gets old hearing Jerry, the King Lawler, tell McMahon to get in the ring.
Crowd is going bananas! Why don't you get in there and wrestle, McMahon?
At the end of the day, WWF Attitude is a mediocre fun little game, well worth playing, but doesn't have much else going for it. Outside of its clunky controls and lackluster features, I honestly would recommend the PlayStation 1 games like SmackDown 2 instead.
I skipped my 16th plate at the buffet to lay into you!
This is just a rough experience that hasn't aged that well. I wanted to like the game as the Attitude era is what I grew up with, but man, is this just a disappointment. Oh well, maybe I'll tackle some of the other old wrestling games one day. Till then, anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later. Alright, so after taking a short break from reviewing bad wrestling games, it's time to review one of the last 3 WWF games for the PlayStation 1.
Oh, don't waste my time! Your poodle butt couldn't handle a vicious dog like myself!
This is WWF Attitude, developed and published by Acclaim. Oh god, this is gonna suck. I've already covered this game back in June on the SEGA Dreamcast, so why am I covering it again? Simple. I need to, in order to make the compilation of every WWF game on PS1. So will my complaints from the Dreamcast version carry over to the PS1?
Probably.
Well, we won't know till we get this game into the ring. We'll start out with one of the most important things in a wrestling game, which is create a wrestler mode. Here we can make all kinds of people, from YouTubers to streamers to cartoon characters and maybe even real life. Cause there's nothing more fun for me than creating people in games and making their lives a living hell.
Well, now we're getting into some deep shit. I don't know if I'm ready for that. Also, what? What? What?
So let's just say I did indeed, as per usual, create Charlie, Muda, and Zach in the game.
Absolutely. Yep.
Of course, not only did I make some decent versions of them, I also made other YouTubers as well. We'll get to them in a minute, as I wanted to show off my Charlie. And no, that is not a code word for anything.
Oh shit, I'm sorry.
This is Charlie, the best we can get in this game due to not being able to really sculpt the character's face nor body. We can only pick presets of eyes, mouths, noses, hair, facial hair, and body type. We can also adjust stats to make wrestlers more strong, let alone more nimble. Since Charlie is rather small yet got some sick muscle, I made him more charismatic and fast. I gave him Shawn Michaels for his identity, because Charlie is definitely a sexy boy.
Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Beat in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it.
Overall, I think I made a decent looking Florida Jesus, though I do wish we could adjust height in this game.
Like, that is it. Like, it's about as, like, lowbrow as those three farts. Like, my little ass trumpet right there is about how deep that video went.
For Muta, I did a better job than in Warzone, as he looks more like himself and a lot less like a generic black guy. Given Muta is more of a tank guy, no offense my Canadian Indian friend, he's given more strength and less flexibility for stats, and he's more so based on Stone Cold at first, but later on I came back to fix him and Zach, making Muta more based on Mark Henry. But his intro was still Stone Cold for a bit. Next up, we have to make Asmongold. We can't have a complete adventure without Charlie, Muta, and Zach.
Yep.
So here we can see I made a very accurate Asmongold, skinny, raggedy clothes, and lacking head hair.
So it wasn't funny. Yeah, like, why don't you just not do this?
He's weak in stats, but makes it up in terms of charisma. After all, anyone who can say, "It is what it is," and never lose his audience to him only ever saying the same shit over and over again, must have high charisma stats.
Yeah, that's the truth.
So here's his intro. I feel like this song fits him, don't you?
You can be my plaything. I can be your toy. Just because I'm skinny, I can't be your sick boy.
Next up, let's speed things up and just say I also made Civvy11, #FreeCivvy, G-Man Lives, Scott the Waz, Angry Joe Show, JD Delay, who's new around here on my channel, and Asmongold's average viewer.
You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. There it is.
Overall, the calm mode is lacking, but is a step in the right direction after playing WWF Warzone. I can at the least have more options in terms of colors, making sure I'm a bit more accurate to those I'm trying to make. One thing that sucks is we cannot place multiple tattoos on wrestlers, so JD Delay, being all tatted up in real life, can't be represented here. You can also make females for those who want divas, as they used to be called, but otherwise that's it in terms of create a wrestler. Basic, doable, a little restrictive and lackluster in some areas, but overall just fine. So let's move on already and talk about the controls and combat.
Finally! Yeah!
The controls are a little less clunky on PS1 given there's more buttons to play with. As such, I found after a few matches it was actually quite decent, albeit still a little bit clunky. It's a massive improvement over WWF Warzone at the least.
Player 2 is out of it! Come on, get up!
The control layout is pretty similar, as they decided X is block, square is kick, triangle is punch, and circle is grapple. Then you have R2 for run, R1 for sidestep, L1 to switch target, and L2 for climbing in and out of the ring and on top of the ropes, and the D-pad for all movement. Though this is just the basics, there's more complex button combos needed to pull off moves like body slams and finishers, which does suck as these inputs require you to scatter your fingers all over your controller like a meth head in order to pull off anything.
What do you think of the dog now?
Otherwise, you won't do what you want and your character will just stand there or do something counterintuitive.
Just like that. Stomp him! Smart move there.
For example, here's a combo needed to pull off the body slam. You need to stand near your opponent, then quickly press left, left, triangle. But if you're not fast enough and your opponent hits you, your button combo is cancelled. Plus, they're probably already going to grab you to slam you instead, as the AI will not sit around and wait for you to do your taxes.
And they tie up. Player 4 is just manhandling Player 1.
Playing on medium/normal difficulty, the AI does put up a good fight. Some wrestlers are more of a challenge than others, so depending on your stats and theirs, you may or may not be in for a good time.
They tie up. King, these people are blowing the roof off this joint. They should be chanting, "Idiot! Idiot!" Nice execution.
Given the game has way too many modes and variations, I'll just cover the single player ones and only a few of them. Lazy! We'll start out with your traditional match, versus mode, where we can select 2 people to fight. Then we can set up other rules to make it a hardcore match, change the ring, etc. Versus mode is all about pinfall or knockout if enabled. Also, ring out is a thing, so don't stay out to the count of 10 or you lose.
This is gonna be quick.
Overall, a fun mode. You can't beat the classics, but honestly, I want more. I want more chaos and bodies piling up. Therefore, we need to check out Tag Team Match.
Oh, don't waste my time. Your poodle butt couldn't handle a vicious dog like myself.
Tag Team has you choosing a partner and 2 others to fight. I also made this match a hardcore one, because I love beating people with weapons.
Good lord!
controls are a little finicky, as to be expected from an older title. As such, you have to use L1 and circle to grab a weapon. Now that doesn't sound so bad till you remember that your target switch and grapple buttons. So most of the time, you switch targets and get your ass handed to you, let alone grapple at your opponent, and you have to be quick to mash buttons in hopes that you're the one who hurts them instead of you.
And they tie up. Hoo-ah! Player 4 is just manhandling Player 1.
Or worse, you could be squeezed to death by a wrestler way larger than you. I mean, the average Asmon Gold viewer is quite the size difference from Moist Critical.
Player 1, you rock. Off the ropes!
The mode is loads of fun once you start to get the controls down, and overall I'd say it's one of the best I've played for this review, which isn't much, but enough to know what I'll rank this game.
Oh, slammage!
1, 2, 3.
You can be my plaything. I can be your toy. Just because I'm skinny, I can't be your safe boy.
What the fuck?
Can't people accept me for the person I am? I've got sugar in my blood!
Lumberjacking is a tough life. I wrestle in my free time for relaxation.
Triple Threat has 3 people in the ring fighting for supremacy, having 3 wrestlers going at each other, forming temporary alliances to go after another guy. Mostly the player has the AI will tag team you before turning on each other.
Close quarters!
You can win by various factors, but the way I lost was submission. Turns out being a Nintendo virgin doesn't mean you're a capable fighter.
Boom! Did you see that?
Overall an okay mode, but nothing special. There is another mode similar called Triangle.
100% organic! No additives or preservatives! You're gonna squeal like a pig on Ham Thursday! This is gonna be quick!
In this mode, you have 3 wrestlers duking it out to win the match. To win, you just need to get a submission. It's literally the same thing as Triple Threat under a different name, so why is it here? Kind of a waste of resources. Should have put it in Casket Match, or Buried Alive or something instead.
Size does matter! Size does matter! Size does matter! Ouch! That's not very...
Anyways, this mode went on for the whole timer. JD Delay won by default because he had the most health. Therefore, it's a most damage win.
And the collision! There's attitude for you, Shane! Just like that! Stomp him! Let's get it on! Player 2 got the worst of that one. Shit the fuck!
Now for one of the most iconic match types in wrestling history, besides the match type where they spit roast your mom, that is.
Owned again!
You have 30 wrestlers duking it out to be the king of the ring by eliminating wrestlers in a chaotic match that takes a very, very long time to complete. Even more so here since for some reason, Acclaim, boo, makes lame, decided to force the player to play as whoever comes into the ring once you've been eliminated.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah, so let's just say I entered the ring as Charlie. Once I got eliminated, the next wrestler to join the ring will be controlled by the player and not the CPU. Yep, you cannot just watch wrestlers duke it out, unlike in later wrestling games.
Player 4 has as much future as an ice cube. Locked up. Player 2 seeing stars. He's falling and he can't get up.
But that issue aside, it was a fun time till the performance issues kicked in. I'll cover that more later in its own section of the other chapter of this review.
Okay. Back up.
Performance issues and having to play as one of the 4 wrestlers in the ring on top of the match taking forever led me to getting bored, so I just ended up quitting the match so I could try out the rest of these modes instead.
Personal. It's just business.
This crowd is crazy. They don't want this match to end. That was pathetically slow.
Pussy.
I can carry anyone. I am the whole damn show. This mad dog ain't gonna take any crap from anybody. Orange 316 says Orange Geek.
A cage match has you fighting an opponent in the ring, smashing each other into the cage wall, and once your opponent is down, you can attempt to climb the wall. Except here, nothing ever worked for me, much like WWF Warzone. No combination of buttons allowed me to climb down the wall.
Player 1 starts climbing the cage. Where's that idiot going, Shane? That's the way to do it. Nice move there by player 2. Locking horns. Pure power. That's sketch. I hope he falls off. He's going to the top of the cage here. Where's that idiot going, Shane? Good night. You got him down? Kick him. Oh, yeah.
So instead of trying to win the match, I just started wailing on Muta, Zack, and Kane.
Player 3 is out of it. Hit him. Oh.
Eventually the timer ran out and Kane won by most damage. Yeah, that fucking sucked. The last mode I played was King of the Ring. Now this one is pretty simple.
It is? Really?
You have a tournament tree and must face opponents you've selected through each match till only 2 are left for the final match. Whoever wins is King of the Ring.
This mad dog ain't gonna take any crap from anybody! I've got more dangerous stuff than you falling out of my colon!
The matches are simple versus mode style rules. You gotta pin them by depleting their health and getting a 3-count pinfall. The tension comes from being eliminated and having to see someone else claim the title you're working hard for. Thankfully, I was having an easy time at this point with the controls, leading Muta to destroy Civi 11.
Player 1 is omnipotent! Can I get a witness on that? Good night, get up!
1, 2, 3.
Then I completely destroyed Charlie.
And here they go! What athleticism! Oh yeah, it's over! Hurry, get up!
1, 2, 3.
Finally, we had to fight Asmongold's fanbase, which wasn't hard as they need a constant supply of Coca-Cola and $2 sticks to keep their energy levels up. So wearing them down was pretty easy.
He's staggering around!
Trouble's brewing, Shane.
1, 2, 3.
So we're gonna just basically use the magic power of editing to get my ass over there and see this little boy. Ain't nobody want you around. Not even your parents want you. What's wrong with you?
Overall, a fun little mode that I would actually say is probably the second best one overall.
I'm not fat, I'm big boned!
There are 3 major technical problems with this version of WWF Attitude. One of those being audio quality. And again, I get the hypocrisy coming from my channel when it comes to audio quality. It just sounds so god-awful in comparison to the Dreamcast version of this game. For some reason, things are more quiet, and there's also crackling, or popping, or whatever you call it.
I can carry anyone. I am the whole damn show. This mad dog ain't gonna take any crap from anybody. In 316 says Orange Geek. I will Mr. Showtime is exactly that. I'm so excited for this match, I passed up 3 fire hydrants on the way. I've been saving it for you, baby.
The game does suffer from slowdown, so if there's 4 wrestlers in a ring, expect some slowdown. Otherwise, if it's a Royal Rumble match, expect a lot of stuttering lag as well. Oh god, was this unbearable.
Not so good, huh? Not so good.
The last issue with this game is bad load times. Nothing new for the PlayStation 1 really. The new disc format came with a lot of pros, such as storing more data, especially for cutscenes and the like. This meant Final Fantasy was PlayStation timed exclusive for a while. Nintendo never recovered from losing Square Enix in that regards. It gave Sony a massive edge with Final Fantasy VII, but also because Tifa's massive wreck.
Boingy, 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 boingy.
So yeah, this game has bad load times. Even saving and loading from the memory card, it takes forever. Loading screens can either be quick as 30 seconds or as long as 2 whole fucking minutes. Graphically, Dreamcast is superior. Control-wise, the PlayStation 1 version comes out on top. Performance-wise, Dreamcast has the edge, as I never encountered any long loading screens nor frame dips. But like I said before in a lot of my reviews, if the game controls bad, then it's a bad game. End of story. You cannot have a great game with the worst controls imaginable at the same time. So whichever version you pick, just know of the cons to each one. Now let's wrap up this video.
It's about time!
At the end of the day, WWF Attitude is a mediocre game that I can recommend. It's nothing special nor terrible, It's playable unlike Warzone, WWF Raw, and WWF Super WrestleMania, though this version does have technical problems with bad load times, frame rate issues, and slowdown.
We get it.
Yet, it does also control better than the Dreamcast version. Whichever version you play, just know it's an okay game. But the PS1 has graphical performance problems over the Dreamcast, which has worse controls. Honestly, I'm glad I played this version.
Say what?
I went in expecting the worst of the worst, but was pleasantly surprised when it turned out to be just okay. With only 2 more games to go, those being WWF SmackDown and WWF SmackDown 2 Know Your Role, which I actually grew up playing a lot. I even watched my dad play that game a lot since he had the PS1 in the living room, while I had my Nintendo 64 in my room. I'll get to them in due time, but for now, anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later. As I continue to play more and more WWF/WWE games on various platforms, I've come to the handheld department for one game in particular. Given I've reviewed 2 of the 4 versions of WWF Attitude, I decided I needed to play every version and review them. So today we're looking at the Game Boy Color version of WWF Attitude, and let me just say this. This video is going to be quick and painful. Let's just get this one over with so I can get to the Nintendo 64 version and finally end this journey. While I can't find much information on the Game Boy Color version of WWF Attitude, I can say the roster looks pretty good. Though I doubt everyone is really here, but you still have Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Mankind, Undertaker, Triple H, Sable, Kane, X-Pac, Road Dogg, Al Snow, Billy Gunn, Edge, Gangrel, Shamrock, Val Venis, Bossman, Goldust, Jay Jarrett, Godfather, and Taka. That's a whopping, 20 wrestlers or so? On the go?
I have trouble with math.
Yeah, I never liked math.
It's a good-sized roster with plenty to choose from. We don't have everyone here, clearly. I mean, I noticed no Mark Henry.
Why?
But that aside, it's amazing how they were able to cram so many on here. Most of the time, you never see that many fighters in a portable fighting game back in the day. But then again, this isn't Virtua Craft, now is it?
Oh.
As for the modes, you got the main game and
practice mode.
Under the main game, we have several match types. Challenge, Career, King of the Ring, Versus, Tag Team, and Cage Match. Again, it's shocking to see so much content on here for a handheld game of this time period. I'm used to handheld games being so lackluster, yet this one doesn't have that issue. Sure, we're missing Create a Wrestler, but that's asking for way too much for this because it's the Game Boy Color.
Well, duh.
The Game Boy Color only has an A button and a B button with Start and Select, as well as a D-pad. Now, someone explain how you can put a fighting game on this device. I'll wait. You can't. This game is proof of it, alongside all the terrible Mortal Kombat handheld games. Every one of those is just a more expensive Tiger Electronics handheld.
Oh, Christ!
A is to attack. B is your grapple/interact button. Select is special, like the developers who made this game. The D-pad is to move around. Now combine these at certain times in a certain combo in order in a certain position to pull off a single move. If you don't time it right, you'll be punished by the AI slamming you around. And let's just say the AI in this game is brutal. I'm talking severely brutal. Now, that's what I wanted in SmackDown vs. Raw 2010 and 11, but here, no way. The AI is too much for a game that plays horribly. They really love to spam a single move. Oh god, it's Mortal Kombat Trilogy on Super Nintendo all over again.
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting. This is awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would. But I legally can't.
As such, get used to being on the ground most of the time. This game is just terrible. Fighting games do not belong on handhelds like the Game Boy and Color. Now what should you do once you're on the ground? You keep on The first match type I played was Challenge Mode, where you must go against every other wrestler making your way to the top of the list, basically the Mortal Kombat stage scene. But when I started playing, I found myself struggling because of the controls in combat. I mean, like I said earlier, it's just so awful. Trying to map a wrestling game to a system with only a D-pad, 2 face buttons, start and select, isn't exactly a good idea. This is a game genre that shouldn't exist on such a system. With the Game Boy Advance, I could see it working better with the shoulder buttons and the layout being much more comfortable, but for the Game Boy Color, isn't the ideal place for fighting games. In the end, I found out just how quick matches can end.
Happened?
Versus mode is where you set up the rules. Well, only by selecting a wrestler and your opponent, that is. There's no options to change the rules or even add weapons. Nope. No hardcore matches here, folks. Want to smack someone with a chair like on home consoles?
Are you crying?
Yes, I'm crying. He hit me with a chair.
Well, you can't, so it's just your standard single match, and it's still awful because of the controls in combat. Moving on. Cage match has you fighting in the ring with a cage on the sides and background. Once your opponent is knocked down, climb the cage like a monkey on PCP and win. Or not. Tag team matches are worse than in the Genesis games. Oh lord, don't play this mode. You're all on your own, and no matter what I did, my partner wouldn't tag in. Jesus Christ, man, I'm getting PTSD with Shawn Michaels from WWF WrestleMania all over again. Now, it was Triple H. Degeneration X? More like degeneration buffering.
Fuck you in the ass, okay?
There's only a single song in this game. The thing doesn't even sound like wrestling. It sounds like a mischievous kitty cat on the NES about to knock over a flower pot onto a monkey for 100 points. I get the Game Boy Color wasn't all that great, but come on, really? Not even going to try? At least they should have gotten some kind of rock or metal-like song to play. This was the Attitude era. Where's the attitude? Honestly, I don't know why I'm bothering, but I guess since this is another version of WWF Attitude, I might as well go ahead and compare the platforms up to this point. As you can see, the Dreamcast looks the best, and Game Boy Color is just pathetic. Much like Dreamcast, the GBC version controls poorly. The PS1 version has better controls, but the second worst graphics. When it comes to the roster, I was surprised to see how many wrestlers they could cram onto this Game Boy Color cartridge. It's still a pretty good roster given this handheld's limitations. Too bad when it comes to everything else, this thing falters. So let's wrap this shit up. At the end of the day, WWF Attitude for Game Boy Color is a garbage game that I cannot recommend. It looks okay for the platform it's on. I'll give them the ambition of making a wrestling game on the go at the time, but controls are the absolute worst. The music is irritatingly bad with a single short loop. Roster-wise it's good, but that's all the good I can give this game. Eventually I'll look at the Nintendo 64 version of WWF Attitude so I can say I reviewed all versions. Till then, anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later.
Prepare for the show! You were any better looking, I'd hump your leg! I don't mean you any harm. I will snap you like a whip. Don't you ever call me fat again! You want ratings? Watch this! Mr. Showtime's embarrassed to be in the same ring with you! Oh, yes! Yes! That boy rocks the party that rocks the body! Ouch! Look, King, he's afraid! Mad Dog looks like a punching bag out there! Man, he makes it look easy! Oh, good night!
So, for the last version of WWF Attitude, we'll be looking at the Nintendo 64 version, home to many terrible ports due to cartridge limitations, but of course quite possibly the worst offender, akin to SEGA Dreamcast, the controller. This version comes with some downgrades and a few improvements over the PS1 version. We'll cover them and more in a shorter review, as I'm tired of covering the same game and this port just felt so soulless and boring to play for some reason. Starting off with Create a Wrestler. We got all the usual options here. Nothing has changed except graphically it's less pixelated than PS1, but not as clean as Dreamcast. Otherwise, I haven't noticed any real differences outside of maybe loading and stuttering you experience on PS1 as you toggle through each cosmetic option has been removed. I was still having fun making people, though I didn't make everyone again because I'm tired of remaking everyone at this point. So I just made Charlie, Muta, Zack, and the average Asthma Gold viewer.
Don't you ever call me fat again!
Honestly, compared to the later console games, I feel like Attitude can nail certain people much better than, say, SmackDown vs. Raw series. If you've seen my PS1 and Dreamcast reviews of this game, you'll notice that compared to the SVR ones, Attitude just looks more accurate for a few cause, but hey, Try looks pretty much on par here.
You want ratings? Watch this!
Another reason why I didn't bother making everyone all over again was because this port is home to less music options, and since I don't want to deal with WWE copyright, all those custom songs are missing, including the best one, Stick Boy, Asmongold's theme song for a long time now since the Dreamcast review.
Man, fuck you guys, man. Yeah, y'all really think you're being cute, huh?
There may have even been more stuff missing given the limitations of the Nintendo 64 cartridges, so we'll just call it quits right here and get to the combat. Enthusiasm isn't at an all-time low right now.
Oh, no one likes me. My dog won't even look at me. My dog took a shit on the floor because they were so disgusted with me. God, no one's ever gonna love me. Except maybe you. Can you show me your titties?
The roster is pretty good. I have no real complaints, though I do wish we could have had legends from the past here, but for what we do have, it's pretty damn good. I could recognize several wrestlers here, though there's a few nobodies, but the most die-hard WWE fans will remember. I mean, who even is Farouk, Ken Shamrock, Draws, D'Lo Brown, Dr. Death, Thrasher, or even Bradshaw for that matter?
Exactly.
I got plenty of people here for templates to base my cause on. Though, in this version, like I said earlier, I have no interest in bringing people back due to burnout and lack of all the original music. I mean, seriously, where is Stick Boy?
This will take me a minute.
Just because I'm skinny, I can't be your Stick Boy.
No.
It's Nintendo, so you know the controls are dog shit.
Well, who didn't see that coming?
The analog stick or D-pad to move around, left shoulder to change target and pick up weapons, A to kick, B to punch, right shoulder for dodge, up C arrow to climb in and out of the ring, down C arrow to block, right C arrow to run, and left C arrow to grapple. Yeah, now think about it for a second. What part of this layout is actually good? I'll wait.
It's awful.
It's all fucking awful! It's all of it, and every single one of them sucks!
Exactly. I get it's the Nintendo 64, but if you release a game on the Nintendo 64, you better make it control as good as possible. This is not it. By God, did I not have any fun playing this port.
They tangled! Tangled up!
The combat is repetitive, seeing the same few moves over and 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 bend over and over and over and over and over again. Get used to seeing people bend and twist arms, punch and kick, because that's how about as much depth there is to this game's combat.
Oh yeah! When we taste the ride!
It sucks because on top of clunky controls, the shallow combat makes things even less enjoyable. This is true for all three home console versions of this game, except PS1 at least controls better. Honestly, the older I get, the more I hate Nintendo and their drug-fueled trip ideas.
Oh yeah! It's showtime! Man, this action is hot! No!
Even when the AI is fighting each other, or you, they still use the same moves, even though each wrestler is supposed to have their own move sets. Apparently this game doesn't realize that. Such a mixed bag of an experience, I tell ya.
Mr. Showtime's in trouble now!
That boy has a real opportunity here.
That boy rocks the party that rocks the body! Ouch!
When it comes to entrances, they're just not good. but still better than what we had in WWF SmackDown and SmackDown 2 Know Your Role later on. Yet that doesn't excuse how simplistic and boring they are. Make sure you turn them off in the options menu. Later games would make entrances worth viewing. It's fun at least once to see each cause entrance, but after that, not so much.
Stop being boring!
When it comes to the match types to talk about, you can't go wrong with the following selection. Starting out with single as your traditional match is always the best. Much like the missionary position, you can't beat the classics.
Mr. Showtime, have the leverage.
Cage matches are fun in later games when the mechanics are fleshed out better, but here, oh my god, is it just terrible. I like smashing people into the cage, grating their faces on the walls, skinning them, making them bleed, jumping off the top of the cage and crushing them below. That stuff is always fun in later WWE games, but not so much here simply due to the controls and combat not being good.
This grip. Woohoo!
Hell, no matter what buttons I pressed, it never allowed me to climb down the cage wall. Only up it, and then either to jump off and hurt myself or wait for someone to shake the cage wall to only fall in and still hurt myself.
He nailed it! That's what the fans want to see. Check out this crowd. They're on there. Hey, why don't you get in there and wrestle, Shane?
Royal Rumble is for people only, and you must always play every single match in this game. There's no only CPU option, so every time you get eliminated, you'll take control of the next guy to enter the ring.
That dog takes the ride. You're the show of the century, Mr. Showtime!
Wow, that fucking sucks still. Let me just watch the others, and if I want to join in, I'll hit the select button on whichever wrestler I want to control, akin to SmackDown vs. Raw, but whatever. I didn't play this match for long because this game's controls fucking suck.
Ready! Down hard! Watch it! Oh man, that was brutal! Medic!
Tag team is always fun. At least when the controls actually fucking work. Here, they don't. No matter what buttons I press, I can even tag in my partner. He just stands there as I get gangbanged.
They lock horns!
This was the worst offending match I played before I just gave up on this game. I'm not having any fun with this version in comparison to the PS1 version.
Time serves one up! Fat Boy makes the tag! Check out this crowd! They're on their feet! They want their money's worth! That connected!
When it comes to the platform differences, I mean it's pretty much just graphics and controls for the most part. Nintendo 64 has less content because of the cartridge limitations. Dreamcast has the best performance, load times, graphics, and audio quality. But the controls were not so good in comparison to the PS1. PS1 had better controls, but that was about it. Game Boy Color. Do we even need to say anything about the Game Boy Color version? Just look at it. It shouldn't even have existed in the first place.
True.
If you have to play any version of WWF Attitude, make it the PS1. Simply because of the controls. If a game controls poorly, it's a bad game no matter what. Because if you can't even play the game, then what is the fucking point of it existing?
Okay.
Well, that does it. We're done here. That was the very last version of WWF Attitude covered. Sadly, no PC port, but it would have been the second worst, no doubt, because of 90s PC ports being infamous. I mean, you think we have it bad today? It was way worse back then.
You ain't lying.
So time to wrap things up and be done with this journey. Thanks for participating. At the end of the day, WWF Attitude for Nintendo 64 is a mediocre game I can kind of recommend. Out of all 4 versions, it's the second worst one by far. If Nintendo just made a normal controller with a disc-based console, we wouldn't be in this mess we're in right now. I like the fast load times. I like the better performance over PS1. I like the audio quality too. Just wish it didn't have less stuff, or even worse combat due to this atrocious controller that Nintendo made when they were smoking meth. But it is what it is, and at the end of the day, there it is. Anyways, the compilation will be out in the future, with a ranking and all that jazz. Till then, however, anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later.
You